doesn't pop up a message. And I gotta just take a quick gander. Okay, I think we're okay. All right. Welcome to the South Suburban Computer Club of the Chicago Computer Society in November the 15th. And tonight's presentation is by Tony Edwards on iPad basics in using Zoom. I will have some additional information after Tony does his presentation and Q&A. Does anybody have anything specific they want to bring up before we start? Hearing none, I will turn things over to Tony and let you start your presentation.
Okay, sir. Marks, edit file, edit view.
You got to share the screen, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to get over that. Close this other thing to close the screen. Edit file, Safari.
Tim,
Yes?
this is Al. I'm sorry, I came in late.
No problem.
I have a question.
Okay.
I have a Microsoft Surface computer laptop, 4 years old, had a couple of crashes, and I think I'm gonna have to get a new computer. Could anybody have any suggestions for a new laptop? I'm not a gamer, but I do use the computer a lot.
A lot depends on everything you're going to do on a computer to decide some of the better models to get. Okay. There is no plain pat answer. Even the reviewers usually have a lot of reviews out there on the internet. You got to watch it because some of them are more of a sales pitch than they are an actual review. But you got to figure out what am I doing on the computer, and then focus the new computer to be able to handle that workload for a period of the next, say, 3 to 5 years.
Okay, well, I use Microsoft products, like Office, PowerPoint, and I do a lot on the Google Chrome as a browser.
Okay, you're talking basically a browser. I assume Office you're using, and you're using some Zoom. That's not extremely heavy loads. Uh, you want at least 8 to 16 gigs of memory. I would say something like an Intel Core i5. I don't think you need a 7 as hardware, and make certain that the boot drive is a solid state drive. Yeah, Sanford?
Alvin, are you a member of any wholesale clubs like Costco or Sam's?
Yes, we are. We're a
Which
member
one?
of Costco.
You're Costco. Okay. To make your shopping a tad easier, you may consider go to Costco, see what they have that they're selling. The only reason I suggest this route is you're familiar with shopping at the location. They seem to treat you well. They usually do. You get 3-year warranty when you purchase their stuff there, I believe, or you get a 2-year extension. You have to look and see what they're offering there. Um, One of the things that's a dilemma or a problem when shopping for a new laptop is there are hundreds of them out there to choose from. And to ask anybody if they have a recommendation. It's what the return on that question would be. It's whatever you need that's going to fit your bill, but also what fits your budget. So I don't, someone might tell you that I've got XYZ, or let's say a Lenovo or a ThinkPad or an HP or whatever. That they'll give you their personal experiences with it, but those are from units they've purchased already, which is different than what's available now. Unless they just bought a machine just within the last 3 months, everything changes all the time. So I think what's important is you go to a place that you could put your hands on it. You could put your hands on the keyboard, see if you like it, open and close the lid, pick it up and see how heavy it is, and then look at the specs as well as the price. The key thing that Tim was getting at, SSD as your boot drive is probably going to be standard unless you buy a low-end machine. And a Core i5, very good suggestion. Going up to a Core i7, that depends on your needs. I myself, Core i7 is the only way I go, but I like power. And I need it, but you may not. An i5 will get you by just fine. You may not care about it if there's a little dwell time or something like that for the processor to think. But for the most part, those will give you some bases to go with. Do you need a lighted keyboard? Do you need touchscreen? Touchscreen, I would say, is pretty well common and not a bad way to go to have a touchscreen, because sometimes it helps get you out of a situation where you can't seem to get control of what's on your screen versus you just touch it and it responds. So it'd be just some simple thoughts right there and helping you get your mind going. But I would go to Costco and see what they have available, and keep in mind Black Friday is coming up. There's going to be a lot of good deals someplace.
Yeah.
And
And going along with what Sanford is saying, generally speaking, you have to examine what your needs are. That's your guideline. Then you have your budget of how much money you can spend, and you find what matches your need within your budget. The money should be the last factor in determining any machine. I don't care if it's a desktop, laptop, tablet, smartphone, mini desktop. I don't care. Whatever you want, you got to make the machine fit you at a cost you can afford. If there are too many people out there, they look at the price first and pray to God that their choice fits their needs, and most of the time it does not.
I just ordered a HP with an i5, a HP from Costco. They've got a number of them on sale right now.
there you go.
And there's a lot of them, like even Walmart, that are already into Black Friday type sales. So what you have to do is you have to start. You can look starting online without doing anything else to see what deals are available from like Walmart, Target, Costco, Best Buy, uh, Sam's Club, etc., and see what is available for a price in your budget, and then figure out which one seems to be the one that is best suited for you over the next 3 to 5 years.
Well, Costco gives you that extended warranty, and also if
It's
you're a
not the
member of
warranty.
Costco,
It's not the warranty. It's the useful life of the device
yeah,
that we're talking about. It's the useful life. You want your devices to last 3 to 5 years. Now, when you get into portable devices like smartphones, tablets, and to some extent laptops, the average life is around 3 years because people tend to break them much more easily than, say, a mini desktop or a desktop. After all, most of those sit in one place, that's it, and there's less likely breakage. But you got to have a goal that whatever I get is going to fit what I want to do on my device over 3 to 5 years. After 5 years, most devices are obsolete. If they're obsolete, it doesn't mean they stopped running, stopped working. They may still work absolutely fine. And under those circumstances, that's a bonus. But at the same time, too, it could be that you've outgrown the device in what you want to do with it after 3 to 5 years, in which case you might need a new machine, and that machine becomes a secondary machine unless you give it away or sell it.
Well, is it worth trying to resurrect this computer?
Pardon?
Break it down? Is it worth trying to put the computer back to its original state, reinstall Windows 10? And
It
start
could
from
be.
there?
If it's only 4 years old, you're on the borderline. If it was serving you well, that's something that can be done. I do that kind of stuff. Sometimes I can do it remotely, sometimes I cannot. It depends on whether the machine is working or the person I'm having to work with that I give instructions to in order to be able to achieve the repair. In other words, I've taken some people and shown them how to change from a spinning hard drive to a solid state drive without me physically being there. I do it
Well, I have a
remotely.
solid state drive. My computer has a solid state.
That's fine. I'll hang on a minute, guys, for a minute.
844-0114. Our office hours are Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time and Saturday from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Our
Hey,
mailing
Al,
address is
Yeah.
P.O.
let me
Box
ask you a question.
965-064,
What percentage
Orlando,
of your
Florida,
computer use
32896.
would you say
Again, please
is
call
email versus using
855-844-0114.
the Microsoft,
This is a recording. Thank you.
About
PowerPoint and
80%.
80% email? Let me just throw something out here that one thing you could possibly do is, let's say you had a budget of $700-800. Rather than spending that much money on one machine, getting my wife a Chromebook was the greatest thing I've ever done. I don't have to worry about updates or anything else. You can get a good Chromebook. Costco, I got mine at Costco. $200 to $250 for a Chromebook, which you would just use for email. Email alone works very well. And then maybe buy a cheaper computer, maybe even an i3 or a cheaper i5, just to use for those times that you want to use the Microsoft Suite. But 80% email, you might want to consider getting two cheaper, a Chromebook and a cheaper computer. I just want to throw that out.
Alvin, Dennis was asking you a question there while I was muted. Offhand, did you say that your storage is 80% full?
No, I didn't say that. Although I think that's correct.
Well, see, that's the other thing too, and this is one of the biggest problems most people do not fathom. Whatever home you live in, unless it's an apartment or a condo, requires you or you pay somebody to maintain it. Same for your automobiles, etc. Well, you got to do the same thing on the computers, and there's a lot of maintenance that can be done within a few hours, a month, that will give you back a lot of performance by getting rid of a lot of garbage you may be accumulating and you're just not aware of it.
Well, I've been using Sea Cleaner
It
and
helps.
Clever Utilities, but there's a lot of backups that are just sitting on the computer. They're duplicate files.
Yeah.
And yeah, if I knew how to get rid of them.
Especially
Right.
like photos. The bad part with duplicate files is most of the software wants to automatically delete the duplicates. I personally want to know what they are. I want to save the duplicates off to an external drive and then delete them. But most of the software doesn't allow you to do the save operation. But there's ways of getting around the problem. I know of one tool that might help you find the duplicates, but you have to also do a fair amount of work to make sure that they really are duplicates, save them off to an external drive. You should be doing backups, and backups always go to an external drive. So if you're not doing backups, that's another faux because if you had real backups, instead of having to blow away what's out on the system and reinstalling Windows, you just reinstall the last backup that was working well for you, and at most you lose some information if you don't independently back up your data files first.
Well, I do back them up to a flash drive, but I don't back up the whole system. And
Yeah.
I tried some, doing some, what do you call it when you go back to a previous time?
Yes.
And when I did that a couple of times, it never finished. It said couldn't finish.
Well, sometimes that means your operating system's got a problem. It could be corruption. It could also be malware on your system you're not aware of.
Okay.
The best program I can recommend for checking for malware and removing it is the free version of Malware Bytes. And you can go to the website malwarebytes.com and
I have it.
okay, make sure you run that because if you did get malware, that'll remove it. Otherwise, if it reports nothing, then it's a case where you may have corruption on your system and it's gotten to a bad point where things aren't working well for you. Minor corruption, there are tools built into Windows, but the bugaboo for most people is you have to use the command terminal to run the tool to get the feedback as to whether it had found corruption and corrected it, found corruption and corrected part of it, but not all of it.
Okay.
So this is my bailiwick. This is what I do a lot of.
Well, could I ask you, would you be willing to do it and would you charge for it and how much?
$366 trillion per second.
Is that all? Oh, that's a bargain.
Well, usually I like to have a little bit of money, but I'm not draconian about it. I charge more if I have to come out and physically be present to do the work. If I can do it remotely, like we're doing right now with Zoom, I go that route.
Okay, how do I communicate with you?
You can try and get a hold of me. The best is through an email. Do you know my address?
No.
All right, I'll put it in the chat.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate all those comments.
One thing I would like to add, you've got a Surface right now.
Yes,
Is that a Surface Pro or just an ordinary Surface?
I think it's a regular Surface.
Yeah, because the Microsoft Surface line, especially the lower end ones, have had a tendency to go wonky after a few years.
Yes, you're talking a laptop style, right?
Yes.
Okay. See, the Pro version is a tablet with a detachable keyboard.
Oh, this one has a detach. This one does have a detachable keyboard.
You
Maybe
might
I'm
have,
wrong.
then you might have the Pro.
Even the ordinary ones, some of them do.
Okay, well, let me go forward with it. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Tony, have you been able to
Yes, where you want me to go up there?
go ahead?
Just a share screen. Are you seeing me now?
Nope, not yet.
I see ya.
You see me? You see the screen?
We're
Oh,
still we're either in speaker view or gallery view, I assume. We don't see the share screen yet. And share is turned on.
Okay, let me get back in there then. This is my screen up here. I hit share screen and my stuff.
I can't answer the question, Tony. Share is turned on. I mean, as an example, I assume all of you can see that screen. And that's a shared screen. I'm going to stop the share on my end. So it's got to be something you're doing or not doing on your end.
Now, Tony is using an iPad, right?
I'm assuming so.
Controls are a bit different.
Yeah, I know. They're at the top of the screen. By the way, Tony, you're muted, just so you know.
Okay.
Come on.
Are you seeing my screen now?
no.
Strange.
I hit share screen. Are you hearing me?
We hear you, but we don't see a shared screen. All we see is you, just like normal in the gallery or speaker's view.
Yes.
Hmm.
Well, just see me then. I'm here.
Hey, Tim, could you explain the share screen? So in other words, if I get that to the bottom of the screen, share screen,
Right.
it'll show whatever I'm displaying, correct? Or
Now,
do I have to hit something else?
you get a little bit of something different. Do you know the Alt Tab keys that Windows has?
Yeah,
Okay. What that'll display is any open windows you have for various programs and applications. Now, the Zoom also adds in additional features like whiteboard and something else. You select the open screen, and usually the first one, top left corner, is your desktop, which means you can open up anything usually and have it run. And then you go down to the bottom right corner, there's a share button, and you click on the share button, and you should start displaying your desktop or whichever open screen you pointed to.
so to clarify, the, the first thing I'm gonna do is do something within Zoom.
Yes, you're
What
going
is
to
share screen?
you're going to hit the share screen button. That's works like Alt Tab.
Okay, then that'll open up something where I can see a desktop at the top left.
You'll see several open program files. The upper left one is your desktop. The other ones are other programs that are available that you can select in case you opened up, say, a YouTube before you started the meeting.
Okay.
It
Could I
would be open and hidden, and then when you hit the share screen, you'd be able to select it and show everybody else that YouTube.
And then somewhere else on the screen to end it, there's an end shares button somewhere.
That's up at the very top edge of your screen. There's a red section and a green section side by side. It's a very narrow bar like. And the red is to stop sharing. The green is for additional feature options that you can take advantage of. Most people don't mess with.
Are you getting close, Tony, or
I'm seeing my screen in one half of the picture when I said share screen, but nothing happens over there on your side.
Yeah, and I don't get that. I've never seen Zoom fail to share offhand.
You forget to let him share. As a host, you have to let him share, right?
Right, I say
We are
share screen.
everybody in this meeting technically can share, but only one at a time.
Okay.
There is a way of allowing more than one to share at a time, but that would be a nightmare and confusing as all heck.
And Tony's using an iPad?
Yes,
Yeah, because the stuff is on the top instead of the bottom, like on
that's correct.
PC. Yeah.
But Tony's
Wasn't
used it before in meetings, Ned,
meeting.
but nothing changed yet, Tony.
Uh, bring all to front Zoom meeting. Gallery, slideshow, stop incoming video.
How up to date is your version of Zoom?
I updated it yesterday, tonight.
Okay. And you tested it?
Yeah, I tested it. Files.
Bert, are you on an iPad or on a laptop?
I'm on a laptop.
I'm on an iPad.
You're on an iPad. Okay. You got any ideas why you can't share?
I'm trying to figure that out. I see Zoom CCS, the whole bottom here. Then I click share screen, and then something else comes up. It says basic, advanced, and files.
Try basic.
Okay, go back to basic.
Yeah, normally you would be doing basic.
My understanding from some videos I watched from YouTube, and I have a list, with a tablet like the iPad, you get some extra screens that you have to work through for every little thing you do.
They're all zoomed to share your screen.
Yeah, I know, but it's not as simple and straightforward. There you go. You got something here.
We got something there.
No, that's
No,
Harry.
that's Harry.
That's Harry.
That's Harry Nelson.
Like I said, everybody here can share a screen. We only want the presenter to do that, or the host. But sometimes other people have problems or questions, and they have the ability to share their screen. But only one person can do it at a time. Tony, while you're playing with that, I'm gonna share my screen. I got a video that I'll try showing that I came across. I found interesting, and
Okay.
I gotta go back to that, and I gotta find it.
That's zooming.
Come on, there we go.
Hey, what's going on? It's Mike here with another episode of Smart, Simple, Digital. Now, in today's video, I'm going to give you a simple breakdown of Zoom, including everything that you need to know to get started with it and also how to join your first meeting. So Zoom is something that has just exploded in popularity recently. You know, it's become one of the new standards for how many of us now communicate with our loved ones and coworkers. And it's also been the subject of a lot of questions that have come my way over these past several weeks. You know, that's one of the main reasons, one of the main things I should say that just finally pushed me to do this video.
All it takes is a little push.
Now, if you're already familiar with Zoom, then some of today's content may be pretty basic to you. But if you or someone that you know is absolutely puzzled by Zoom,
I don't get it.
Maybe you're hearing about it all in the news and pop culture right now, but you don't know what it is.
I still don't get it.
Or, perhaps you've been invited to join a Zoom meeting, but you don't know where to begin, what to do.
What?
Then this episode is for you. Now, just one quick reminder before I get started. If you haven't done it already, consider subscribing to my channel. Especially if you are a returning viewer or if you're just someone who digs the content that I put out. Go ahead, click the subscribe button below, and every time that I put out a new video, you'll be notified. So first off, what is Zoom? It's a communications tool that's used to host video conferences and other virtual meetings over the web. You can use it to host everything from one-on-one meetings to group presentations and even large conferences with hundreds or even thousands of people. A few things that are great about Zoom. Number one, it gives you the ability to host or join a meeting from anywhere regardless of your physical location. As long as you have a computer, smartphone, or tablet, and it has an active internet connection, and it also has a Zoom app installed, you can be a part of any discussion that you need to be in. Number two, when you're participating in a Zoom meeting, you have the ability to virtually interact with other guests through video and audio. So you can literally see other people who are in attendance, who are attending that meeting, or those who are presenting, as long as they have an active webcam. And you can also hear and talk to other meeting participants as well using your phone or the microphone on your computer. Things that are really key in helping to recreate the feel that you might get from an in-person or face-to-face discussion. And number three, Zoom is free to use if you're just planning to join meetings or if you're planning to host small meetings of your own, those with less than 100 guests. Aside from that, if you need to host large-scale meetings with hundreds or even thousands of guests, or if you need access to special features for hosting virtual classrooms, or if you're a medical professional, you want to host your appointments virtually, then you'll need to upgrade to one of their premium plans. However, for the rest of this discussion, I'm just going to focus on the basics, how to join a meeting and what to expect if you're using Zoom for the first time. So now that you have a general idea about what Zoom is, let's talk about getting started with it. So there are two things that you'll need in order to get started with Zoom. First, you need to have the Zoom app installed on your computer, smartphone, or tablet. Really, whichever device you plan to use to join or host a meeting. So if you plan to use your smartphone, you should download the Zoom Meetings app to that device. For iPhone and iPad users, you can find the app in the App Store. And for Android users, you can find the app in the Google Play Store. Now, you may notice several other apps available from Zoom in those stores, but you want to get the one labeled Zoom Cloud Meetings. Now, if you plan to use your computer to join or host meetings, I highly recommend that you download the Zoom Meetings app to it. It's available for Windows and Mac computers and can be found on the Zoom website. Now, one quick note about that. It is possible in some instances to join a meeting from within your browser without having to download the Zoom app at all. However, that can be a little tricky and confusing, quite frankly, if you're a first-time user. So to avoid any frustration, I highly suggest that you just download the Zoom app to your computer. Just follow the instructions that I just mentioned. Now, the second thing that you'll need in order to get started with Zoom is a user account. However, this is really only necessary if you plan to host meetings of your own or if you'll be joining restricted meetings, which may be the case for some virtual classrooms or other private events where the host may require guests to sign in. It's free to create an account and you can do it by visiting the Zoom website. Once you're there, click the sign up button and then follow all the on-screen instructions. But again, if you just need to join a meeting that someone has invited you to, then creating a user account really isn't necessary. So how do you join a Zoom meeting? It's actually pretty simple, and it's something that you can do from your computer or your mobile device, such as a smartphone or tablet. You just want to make sure that you have the Zoom app installed on the device that you're planning to use, which I mentioned earlier, and you also need to have the meeting invitation link or the meeting ID and password that you should have received from the person hosting the meeting. Now, once you have those things covered, you're halfway there. First, let's talk about joining a meeting from your mobile device, your smartphone or your tablet. The first thing that you want to do is to go to the meeting invitation that you received through email or text, and then click on the link that was included. Now this should trigger the Zoom app to open, and then next you may see a series of prompts or messages appear on your screen. First, you might be asked to select your audio setting. There might be an option that says to hear others, call using internet audio, or a second option that says cancel. Now this first option will turn on your microphone so that you can speak and be heard once you're inside the meeting, and the second option, cancel, will mute your microphone. Select the option that you're most comfortable with, and remember, you can change the setting if you need to once you're inside the meeting. The last thing, there's sometimes when you may be prompted to enter a meeting ID or password. If that happens, just refer back to the meeting info that was provided to you by the host, and those things should be included in the invite, and just go ahead and enter them. Now, after you've done all that, you should be set and instantly join to your meeting. Next, let's talk about joining a Zoom meeting from your computer. This is also pretty simple. Again, the first thing that you want to do is to locate the meeting invitation that you received through email or text, and just click on the link that was included. Now, this should trigger your web browser to open up, and then you'll be directed to the Zoom website. Now, once you're there, you should see a pop-up message asking if you want to open the Zoom app. If you do, just go ahead and click on Open or Allow, and this will trigger the Zoom app to open on your computer. Next, you'll see a series of prompts or pop-up messages appear on your screen. First, you may be asked to select your preferred audio setting, join with computer audio, or test speaker and microphone. Now, this first option will turn on your microphone so that you can speak and be heard once you're inside of the meeting. The second option will just guide you through a series of questions to make sure that your microphone and your speakers are properly tuned. After that, you may be prompted to enter the meeting ID or password. If so, just refer back to the meeting info that was provided to you by the host. And again, once you enter all that information, you are all set and you should instantly be joined into your meeting. So once you're inside of a Zoom meeting, there are a couple settings that you'll want to locate and also adjust according to how you want to interact with other meeting guests. Now, first is the audio setting. This is represented by the microphone icon in the menu bar. Now, this setting turns the microphone on your device on and off, which in turn controls whether or not your voice is heard by other guests in the meeting. You can tap it to change the setting. When a line appears to the microphone icon, you're muted and can't be heard. And when there isn't a line running through the icon, your microphone is on and everything from your end can be heard by other guests, so be careful. Just a quick note here, it's a good practice to keep yourself on mute whenever you're not talking in a meeting. The microphones in our devices are way more sensitive than we realize sometimes, and you don't want to be that person with all the background noise completely ignoring. Do that? Don't be that. The second option that you want to be aware of when you're inside a meeting is the video setting. Now, this is represented by the camera icon in the menu bar. This setting turns the webcam on your device on and off, which in turn controls whether or not you are visible to other guests in the meeting. Again, just tap it to change the setting. When a line appears through the camera icon, your webcam is turned off and you can't be seen. And when there isn't a line running through the icon, your webcam is on and you are visible to all other guests. Now, once you're ready to leave a meeting, you just want to click on the Leave Meeting button in the menu bar and then press Leave Meeting to confirm your choice. And then once you do that, you'll be taken back to the Zoom app home screen and you're done. Now, in some situations, the host may end the meeting, and in that case, you won't have to click the Leave button. All guests will be automatically disconnected from the meeting at that point, and you'll be taken back to the app home screen. All right, so with all that said, I think you're ready. And if you want to take Zoom for a test drive and practice all the things that I shared in this episode, just visit the Zoom test site at the address right here, right below. You want to enter that address in a web browser on your computer or your mobile device. And once you do that, this is going to open up the Zoom app, and it's going to place you inside of a test meeting all by yourself where you can play around with all the things, all the settings. So I definitely recommend that you give this a try. So that's it. That's everything that you need to know in order to get started with Zoom and to join your first meeting. I hope it was helpful. If it was, please like this video and also share it with someone else who can benefit from it. Like right now, just copy the link and send it out. Send it out to somebody who can use this information right now. Also, if you haven't done so already, hey, consider subscribing to my channel. And what happens is every time that I put out new videos, you'll be notified. And of course, if you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care. Hey, what's going on? It's
Okay. Now, I want to add one thing that a lot of people doing YouTube videos may not know or understand. Underneath the video frame is some commentary, and look for the word show more and click on it. A lot of times there's added links and other information related to the topic of the video at your beck and call. Furthermore, I suggest at times you read the comments from other viewers, because every now and then when I look through them, I find nuggets of information and or ideas that were not in the video. In fact, I've got in a list a case where a person created one of these videos with some tips and tricks, and due to the comments that he got in his video original, he came out with a second video with an additional set of tips and tricks. So it's good advice to look through this stuff if you find that there is good value in the video that you are looking at. If it seems to be off base, you can't understand it, there's a high probability you're not going to benefit from the information in that's hidden or in the comments. So I'm going to stop sharing. Okay. Now, Tony, you think you got it resolved?
Still having a challenge here because when I pull up the other over here in my right hand side, I'm seeing my stuff, but I can't. Excuse me.
Do you have a secondary computer, like a laptop or desktop?
No, I don't have a laptop or desktop. My laptop is a MacBook.
It don't matter.
Huh?
That's immaterial.
Right. Okay.
Then you should be able to take that laptop
Mm-hmm.
and log into Zoom again
Mm-hmm.
as Tony Edwards again.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're trying to share the screen on the tablet, you're going to see on the laptop whether it's sharing or not.
Okay. So log out here, say leave.
No, you don't leave. You just stay right there. You just bring out the other computer, bring up the email, log in to the link, and you become part of the group when I admit you. Then you'll be able to see right there whether you're sharing or not. If you can see it on the laptop, then that's all it's required. Okay.
Okay.
Now you're in there for a second time somewhere, I think. No, you didn't get in yet. Somebody's popping in and out, I think. It might be Sanford.
I'm joining with video, right?
Yeah. Okay. Now
Okay,
you're
that's
in.
me. This is
Okay.
me down here.
Okay. Now go back to the tablet
Yeah.
and try and share your video, and then look over at the laptop to see if you see the shared screen.
Okay. Yes, please. Audio.
the trials and tribulations of getting this stuff to work. I do have other videos that I can show, but I wasn't planning on it. I wanted to show the one, but I was going to show that before the end of the meeting. The bad part is I don't use tablets, so I can't help. And the one tablet I've got is about 15 years old. It's a Samsung Galaxy. It still runs, but I so seldom touch it that who cares? And it wouldn't explain what I'm expecting from you, Tony.
Okay, now I'm here. What should I? I'm seeing over here. Now it says share screen. Let me see what we're doing. This one here. Oh, I should have.
I mean, I'm giving you this idea because even Larry Elder, who shows up at some of the meetings, he's all on Mac. So it's quite doable there.
Share screen.
But this is a way of seeing what the heck is happening as you play with the tablet trying to share the screen.
Yeah.
Motion at your stick-up cam.
What happened, Wayne?
You're muted, Wayne.
Looks like he's on the phone too.
When you go to share, you've got a whole thing, you know.
Wow.
When you click on that share screen on the iPad, it comes out with a drop box with a whole bunch of different things you can pick. Whether you want it to go to a URL or a photo or whatever.
Yeah, it says URL photo. I'll go back here.
There's half a dozen different things you can pick.
Yeah, I think it's near the top of that list that Wayne's talking about.
Near the top of which list?
Because I remember in one of the videos they brought up about the list that Wayne's talking about.
Yeah, there's
And
a whole bunch of things in there
yeah,
that you can
but
do.
it's near the top of the list. I think second, third, fourth from the top of that list. That's the one you want to share the screen. The rest of the stuff is if you have permissions to share your photos on the
Right.
device or other things or a URL that's external to your device.
Right.
Those are the other options. I'm glad I looked at the videos. Shoot. Even though I don't have one. Hey, somebody shared. We're starting to. Hey, there you go.
Nice.
Finally got you.
Okay. So I can work from this one. So you all see the full screen over there on your side, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Now here we go. iPad. Now why iPad? They say it does so much and so much more. We have one machine or one piece of equipment can do a lot of things. They say it's so versatile, it's up to any task. Whether you're working on a project, expression, creativity, we're trying to play a game or anything of the sort, the iPad is very, 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 very flexible. You can do tough things easily. Run powerful apps and effortlessly without any problem at all. And you can stay productive at the time. Use multiple apps at once, for example, and work between applications. There are two different types of iPads. There's one with a Wi-Fi built into, not Wi-Fi, with internet access from it. And there's the other regular iPad like this one I have here. This doesn't have any internet access. I have to use Wi-Fi. So the Wi-Fi could be adapted back and forth on this. You can store stuff with files here. You can store stuff, organize, share, get all your stuff in one files and apps, and manage anything on the iPad or in the iCloud. Easily access files stored in a thumb drive or any external device. So if you have files, for that example like there, you can use these files on a thumb drive or transfer them or move them around quite easily. You can mark stuff up. So if you feel artistic, you can mark things up in any way you desire. Have graphs, topography you can do, freestyle. In fact, there's one application here. This is called an iPencil. And this can be used to write on the iPad or make markings on it as you go along. Making notes with iPencil, for example. Here in the picture, you see the guy is making notes actually in an actual picture. Touching up that picture, there are birds of Africa and different birds. So you're able to do a lot of manipulation using the iPencil. It's like your finger doing the walking and also the talking. You can convert handwritten or typed text with your iPad. And it's just as powerful as doing text or speaking to the text. And you have the text coming up, either speaking it or writing with the iPencil. You can draw perfect shapes by hand with your Apple Pencil. So you could create shapes like this on a whiteboard or any way you so desire, and you can have it available. This is the Apple Pencil here inside there. On documents, you can mark up anything on the documents, and it will stay there permanently, and you could erase them or remove them. So electronically, it's a very, very dynamic operation. What you can do with a pen and paper, you can do the same thing here instead of just typing in everything. So it's more freestyle, and I like that aspect of it, where it's very freestyle. Handwriting into text with Scribble. There's an app that's called Scribble where you can convert your handwriting into text. So you scribble in with little things that will convert it for you automatically into text, which is a real neat feature. You can take notes anywhere. Once you have your platform, once you have your tablet, you can take notes anywhere around on your tablet there, and it will hold it for you. Because normally when you have your keyboard and a computer, you have to type things in. The only input there is to use your keyboard. But with this here, you can use the iPencil, this little gizmo here, which allows you to do whatever you want to as freely as you want to. And I like that particular aspect of it. So here you can see he's writing the application. This is written in handwriting. This is the handwriting there. You can do that. And of course, it will convert it into text for you. You're able to do quick notes. Create the ultimate canvas for any project. Here you have an example, and all this is done freestyle with your hand if you're an artist. If you're not, you can color things and what have you. So it's a very powerful tool, and this is one of the things that I like about it. You just work free. You don't have to be with a keyboard and everything is a keyboard. Draw a masterpiece with the Apple Pencil. With the tilt and pressure sensitivity, there's an imperceptible lag between writing and drawing, and the pixel picks up after that. It becomes pixel perfect precision. The Apple Pencil is the ultimate tool that will turn a blank page into an inspiring work of art, like that. Imagine doing that with your computer, or your laptop, or your PC. I doubt it. This is using Adobe Photoshop. They were able to create this image here all freestyle. 3D design on your fingertips. You can do 3D design. For example, everybody's into electric bicycles now, any type of bike. You can create this with your freestyle with your hand and make it to your liking, your suit, your design, create your own design or adjust it or change it around. You could compose music with it, with GarageBand, keyboard for those of us who are keyboard experts. You can create tunes, music, or anything you want with it. That's another aspect that's available there. GarageBand is the app that goes along with that. Bring out your own animated characters to life. So here you can have a blank screen, and you can start to add things to it, remove things, color things, erase things. It's a very, very powerful system. Here, for example, stretching out a picture to make it look different. Now, normally you'll have to use Photoshop. I don't know how you can use Photoshop to achieve this type of effect, but that is potentially, you can do that with the iPad, with your eye pencil. There you can add coloring to different aspects of it, and it can really go to town. Just your imagination run wild. Anything you can think of, you can do here. And this, of course, is the software for that is Adobe Lightroom. But if you want to, you do a lot of these things freehand. You don't have to buy the apps unless you want a perfect, picture or perfect setting, and that's there. The other thing with the iPad, you can catch a movie, you can have a movie on it, or you can put the movie from your Netflix or any of the subscribing sources that you subscribe to, and you can watch a movie on it, or you can project the movie from this to your television screen, your TV screen. You can blast tunes, of course. You can listen to music. You can hear sounds. You can read a classic, a book. Read books. I have quite a few books here, but I do that to my little granddaughter. She likes to read a lot, and she can see the book and she can read the book, and read the book for her, which is a real powerful thing. Of course, when Apple was always promoting their products, it comes with 3 months of Apple TV, and Apple TV is another world in itself. It's unbelievable stuff. You can watch and stream all your favorite contents, catch the newest films, watch your favorite displays, your pictures if you have any. You can do a lot of things with this stuff. Anything you can imagine with your mind, you can achieve it with your iPad. It has amazing speakers and video quality for your music to listen to and for your eyes and your sight. So it has music and video quality, which is really superb. And until you do it, you wouldn't recognize how good this can be. Of course, you can catch up on the latest news. You can read books that are bestseller. So it's an entirely, I call it a 360 application or a tool that you can do anything with it. The only thing that this doesn't do, and I found this out, it doesn't shovel snow. Okay? But everything else it can handle. Apple Music, it can play Apple Music tunes you have on your iPad or on your computer. You can play those and listen to them and even send them through. I have a couple of Sonos speakers here, one in each room, bedroom, the living room, the dining room, and I could project the sound, the music, the talk in any room I so desire, without having to go and hook up speakers and hook up wires. It just goes and you tell it which speaker you want to go to, and it accomplishes that. Snap a photo, scan a document, shoot a film, all on the same device. You can do this all on your iPad. Any of those things you can do it there. Shoot a photo and edit it right away. Just imagine you shoot a shot and you want to edit it right away. It's so powerful, you can actually make that change to suit you, make it darker, lighter, cut out the feathering, do a whole bunch of things. Those who do photography, shoot a photo and edit it right away. And a quite professional way it's done and handled masterfully. You stay connected with FaceTime, conference apps. You can stay connected with family and friends at the office. You can take selfies, of course, and not have a problem. It also has a built-in document scanner. Sometimes you want to scan something and you go long road, you use a computer, what they call that, a copy machine. But this scans things for you, and then you can add it into your email or send it out to anywhere you want to. So this really has that aspect of it. Use the back of the camera to scan a document and then mark it up before you send it. This is what he has done here and achieved doing that stuff. It has a date, signature, etc., etc. So mark up your information and then send it to whoever you want to. You can do FaceTime with people you know. Sit down and look at them real lifetime, and the color and the depth and the it's impeccable. It's the next best thing to being there. Sometimes I want to reach out and touch the screen, forgetting that it's just a screen, it's not the real thing, you know. But that is really a powerful aspect of this augmented reality, advanced camera motion, tracking, a large display make the iPad the ultimate device for augmented reality. So you can learn, watch, and play and immerse in environments. And there are a lot of games and other things you can do over there. This is an example of augmented reality. Everything is it's three-dimensional. Take an engine apart, strip it down to the bones, and put it back together again. You're in your garage there, like Jay Leno, but don't get yourself burnt because he did that a few days ago, changing stuff in his garage, so you got to watch that. They say play it like you mean it. Whatever you want to do, if it's a game or you want to create a Disney type of character formula, you can take characters and create these designs and do whatever you want to with them. And that's a great thing if you want to have fun. I think my granddaughter does this much better than I do because I'm not an artist, but she has an alacrity for playing with figures and all that stuff. So this is a fun thing for the kids. And if you have artistic skills, you obviously can use that type of thing there. The App Store's games that look and play amazing. Browse and enjoy thousands of games just from your iPad. Thousands of games. Well, all I used to play is Jinrami. I don't know another game. And maybe chess. I forgot about that. From high-speed racing to jigsaw puzzles, there's a game for everyone with your iPad. And there are tons of games there. They show you all kinds of things. Just let your imagination run with you, and you can accomplish whatever your heart desires and beyond. The only thing I find it hasn't been able to do quite yet for me, as I tried this, was to make a virtual Tesla. You know, I wanted to drive one of them things and, you know, up on the street, but that didn't work anyway. You can connect it to a game controller. So if you're into gaming, Xbox and all those other things, you can use that and connect your iPad to your game controller and have solo players or multiple players. You can play with somebody, your neighbors, and all that stuff. Good stuff. Explore the world of games with a free trial of Apple Arcade. That's another bit of software that Apple puts out there. Apple is so comprehensive that they make everything is able to work with this platform, the iPad platform. Of course, if you're doing racing cars, car racing, you can use the Apple here to do that. This is the joystick or the machine here that enables you to manipulate your cars and everything else. So you can play against a friend or try to play against yourself. Games are more engaging with motion. So you get motion attached to the game. They take a new dimension and sensors built into the iPad. You can drive a Dodge, aim with the iPad an amazing, speed with it, with gaming devices. You can do everything just like as though you really did. Talking about virtual reality. Look at this. Those guys who have Porsches out there. Look at this thing here. This is a beautiful machine, isn't it? Wow. It's a Porsche Carrera 911. It's like being there. It will zoom, zoom, zoom for you. You're talking about the zoom? This is a real zoom. This is another game, Asphalt 9 Legends, and I'm not familiar with that one. But there's a lifelong learning process with the iPad. You always find something new, something different. You discover a new aspect of this iPad, this Apple machine every day. Every time you touch it, you learn something new. It's a lifelong learning, and it's made magical. Here you can even go down if you're in architecture, if you're into drawing and making things specific, you're into woodworking. I think Al does woodworking or whatever. You can have your things precise angles, measurements, and everything down to the lowest area you can there, and have the lowest pixels. You see, they have the graph paper there where you can design your own things and create them if you so wish. You see, your classroom can be anywhere. Take your learning to go and sign in from wherever you are. Attend a lecture, tackle a group project, or simply stay connected with colleagues and classmates from all over. That you can do with your iPad. Learn something new, whether it's cooking, Cantonese food, or zipping through a self-guided course in your free time. You can play golf, you can practice your swing, you can even practice skeet shooting and this thing here. There you go. If that floats your boat, you can create a menu and design it and make it look good and send it out to your friends so they can eat virtually from your kitchen if you have that type of friend. Over on this side, you have a color wheel. And this, again, let your imagination run wild with you. You can do a lot of coloring in varying ways with this here. When you're coloring at home, kids like this aspect. My granddaughter likes this. Vibrant and high contrast in hue. This is so realistic, sometimes I forget it's not real. You see these pictures here, it's really like lifelike. This is a great start for all types of learning. It has an additional apps for children outside of the classroom, and screen time that allows you can set limits on the screen time for the kids to not spend too much time in it. Of course, they can explore the planets, Mars, know its position from the sun. We had a blood moon last week, I think it was, and you can see this on the scale on your iPad and capture it and try to recreate it yourself if you're that artistic or if you have that design in your mind. This one is a Star Walk Kids Astronomy game. I haven't played this and I don't know much about it, but somehow my little granddaughter messes with that stuff. Here, now, if you're into coding, you can start your own coding skills. Build your coding skills. Swift playgrounds make it fun to learn, experiment. A powerful programming language created by Apple. Learn to code, build real apps with Swift user interface and see your ideas come to life in the App Store. That is good stuff. For those guys out there who are coding junkies and you want to create something, go and have it. Swift Playgrounds. They show that they can create different playgrounds for entertainment, or just for the heck of it, or to see how good you are. It also gives you the opportunity to learn something new every single day. This thing, I never get tired of turning it on. I went to the doctor today. I had a medical appointment, and I go in there with the office while in the waiting room. This is what I have in my hand. I go everywhere with this thing, you know. I don't leave home without it. This is my American Express. It could even pay my way if I put money in the Apple and the Apple meter. There's an app for that. Apple has designed this thing so well that there's an app for anything that you want to do or that your imagination will allow you to do. And I encourage you to take a look at the iPad, because this will become your best friend and you won't leave home without it. It will be like a wallet, because there is an Apple wallet in this where you can pay for things. And that is the end of my presentation. Any questions? And the accessibility and the privacy is really good. People don't get into your stuff. So that's it. Questions, comments?
Do you use that Apple Pencil?
What about it?
Do you use the Apple Pencil?
Oh yes, I use, this is my Apple Pencil here.
Okay.
Yeah. I use this regularly, writing up things, mark up on it.
How big is your screen, Tony?
This screen, that's a good question. I don't know. The iPad, I don't know. This is about 8 inches by 11, 8 by 11, about 8 by 11 inches.
So offhand, Tony, with that simple programming system, are you going to take and make apps to use it to shovel the snow, mow the grass, and optionally water the grass?
So you have anticipated my dream. You're walking in my head. Yeah, we'll do all that stuff.
You might need the snow removal real soon.
Yeah, it doesn't do too well, but it gets cold out there. You have to keep it warm, snug it, keep it close to your body.
Terry, did you have a question?
And this time they have different ones. They have the iPad Plus, etc. I think they start about $400 or $500, so you can buy a small one. You can get really sophisticated and spend $1,000 if you want to, but it's fun. I'm traveling or going out of town anywhere I go here and have one of these in the hotel room. I don't care. And this is my MacBook. I have my MacBook, which I don't carry around much anymore. But this Apple iPad is the bomb. It's the latest and it's the greatest and it's the best.
My iPad's got the not only Wi-Fi, but I can also use my phone if I'm in an area where there's no Wi-Fi.
Oh yes, you can. That's one of the things with Apple. They integrate all their products to talk to each other. So, for example, my brother was here a couple of days ago, and he says his iPad doesn't have Wi-Fi. I said, "Do you have a phone?" He says, "Yes." Take out your phone, and he has an Android phone, and it looks ugly, but he took it out and he turned it on. I said, "You have internet and that you have Wi-Fi on your phone?" He says, "Yes." I said, "Well, just hook your phone up to your iPad, put in the username, the password, and there he got bam." He said, "Wow, man, I didn't know I could do that." Because he keeps saying he doesn't have any Wi-Fi on his iPad. And he
I take my iPad when we go traveling and cruising, like on the ship.
Yeah.
Instead of having a laptop or
Yes.
computer, I just use my iPad.
Yeah. Anytime I'm going anywhere, going to a meeting, I mean, not shopping, I don't go shopping with it. But anywhere I'm going where there's a sit down or meeting or a discussion or anything, I take this with me. I pick up my wallet and my keys and this. That's the triumvirate that I travel with. my iPad, my keys, and my wallet. I don't leave home without any of them. You know?
Okay, Sanford?
Yes, I have a question. I don't know if Tony can be able to answer the question. My wife has an iPad as well as an iPhone, and sometimes when she receives text messages that normally should be going to her phone, they go to her iPad and not to her phone.
Mhm.
They go to both on mine.
The reason,
They should go to both, but sometimes it goes, for whatever reason, it'll only go to her iPad and not to her phone. And I mean, it just happened today, so we don't know what the solution is. Does anyone maybe know or an insight?
where is she in the same place in the house or wherever she is? She's in a
Yeah,
fixed
same.
position.
Yeah.
Sometimes yes, other times no.
You see, you got to realize if both of them are on at the same time, I never experienced if it will. Okay, let me back up. Some time ago, I did this thing about my cameras out there, which is another story. And my Allo cameras are the cameras on the house, these security cameras. So I have the app on the iPad here in my hand, and I also have the app on my phone. So if I'm driving down the street and whatever it is, I stop somewhere, I can look at my phone and see what my cameras are doing. I can also use the iPad when I'm at home because this doesn't have Wi-Fi and look and see what's happening. But I've observed in some of the apps, if you turn it on one machine, your phone, for example, and you have it also on your iPad, it will say not active or it's showing somewhere else. You understand? So rather than show it into two places at one time, because remember, what these things go by is your Apple ID.
Okay, well, both of them have the same Apple ID.
Oh, that's what happens. And that's
Same
why it
account.
splits. That's why
Yeah.
that's the answer.
Yeah, and I'm only talking about text messages sent. In my case, I have an iPhone, and I send it to her iPhone. But instead of showing up on our iPhone, it'll show up on our tablet and not on the iPhone.
Yeah,
Mine goes up on both.
I don't know what the reason for that is, but you see, if they both have the same Apple ID, I believe they will show up both places. That's the way I see it.
Well, that's the way it should go, but doesn't always go.
Yeah, that
I mean,
has
we
to
just
do with,
experienced this today.
yeah,
So,
that probably could have to do with the environment in which they are. One is faster than the other. I don't know how fast, what version iPhone you have and what version of your iPad. But if one is faster than the other, one would supersede. One would grab the message before the other one does.
okay, to defeat that statement, her iPad is old. Phone is newer, shall we say? So the phone by default, by processing speed, it's an iPhone 12, should get this much quicker. It's not a function of speed. It's a function of retrieving the text message in totality. That is, it only shows up on the iPad and not on the phone. And the iPad is, let's say, 10 years old, and the phone is only a couple years old.
So you're saying once it shows up on the iPad, it doesn't come over to the phone at all?
Correct.
That's interesting. I don't know. Can't help you there.
That sounds
No,
like
mine shows up on both. Sometimes it shows up on the iPad as well as the phone, and other times just my phone.
Okay, that's just it. We've seen it where it only shows up on one device but not the other. And in her case, it's going to the tablet, and not to the phone.
It sounds like
The only difference I can
option
see.
setting somewhere.
Yeah.
The only difference I can see is that one of those might be Wi-Fi and the other is cellular, and there could be a carrier issue.
Could be a carrier issue.
Sounds interesting.
Okay. All right. Second, Tony, did you demonstrate how to do a split screen?
Did I demonstrate it?
Yes.
You want me to do that now?
Sure. How to do a split screen?
What I did Oh, a split screen like what I'm doing here now? What I did, I think it was Bob or somebody told me to go to my iPad. And I went to my iPad and I brought up the Zoom situation. And then when I brought up the Zoom, I opened the app for the Apple iPad on my iPad. And I was able to, you see, it told me one talk to the other one. This one says to the other one, do this, do that. It steps me right through. I forgot exactly what it was. But it stepped me right through from one to the other. It says, if you want to show this, go there. But when I was trying to do it by myself, I couldn't see. I was just doing it blindly. I couldn't find any steps. But the steps are clear once you start up on the iPad, or you have
Tony,
both of them open together.
Tony,
One can see it.
that was share screen you're talking about. What Sanford was asking about is on the iPad, do a split screen so that you can see two apps side by side or whatever they do.
That is correct. So you could have, let's say, Excel open on one screen and your browser open on the other screen. How do you actually invoke that function?
Good question.
And then
There's
also on
three
the
little
computers.
dots at the top.
3 little dots at the top up here.
Yeah. When
Oh,
you
that,
go,
yeah.
when you're open on a screen, there's 3 little dots at the very top of the
Ooh,
screen.
yeah, look at
When you
that.
click on it, gives you an
Yeah.
option of full screen, split screen, or
Yeah.
slide over or close.
Okay. Split view shows another app. Okay, can go back there. Yep, that you're right. See that? On top here, you have 3 little dots there. When I touch these 3 dots up here,
Yeah.
it has one screen, it has a split screen, and has one screen shifted, the big screen, and one shifted to the side as it goes. Wow. I thank you guys for teaching me stuff on this. You see, if I don't play with this, I don't know what I'm doing sometimes. But this is fun.
That little trick is something that Android took decades to find out how to do after iPad did it.
Yeah.
And Windows can do that sort of thing, and Windows took a long time to catch up with Apple.
Apple is very creative and very dynamic, and they seem to think down the road, down the line for you. But I find it's fun.
What I like is I've got if I take a picture on my phone, it automatically shows up on my iPad or vice versa. I've got it set up so, and of course it all goes to iCloud.
But it goes in the cloud. It's in the cloud again is identified by by Apple ID and goes to the cloud.
It syncs the pictures between both devices.
Right. The problem there I find with that is this, that on my iPad I take a lot of pictures. I mean, I take pictures of the Queen's funeral and his husband's wife and all kind of stuff. I have more pictures in this. I have about 4,000 pictures in this thing. You know, I think it's I forget how much memory I have in this. But when I try to do that in my phone gets bogged down because the phone only has what's it, 2 terabytes of memory. But this one I think it has 5 or something like that. So it has a lot of stuff on there. It can hold a lot. So I don't take pictures normally with my cell phone and let that lay. But this on the iPad, I have all kind of pictures in this stuff. So now they're telling me I should go and get another 4 or 5 terabytes of real estate to keep the junk that I have around.
The other nice part is you can edit the photos on your iPad or your iPhone.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That is where one day Windows will get there, hopefully. This is the Tesla of the computer world. Yeah. Any other questions, concerns, or comments?
Okay, Tony, can you stop sharing?
Oh yeah, I can do that. Stop sharing. I'll go here. Okay. And over here now, I'll go and do this.
Okay.
Stop sharing.
I'm going to put a file of, it's a PDF. Okay, now hang loose. I haven't. What the heck? You rotten son of a gun. File is an invalid name. You don't like the file name or something. Hang loose for a minute. Gonna have to figure out why it does. Oh, I know why. It's at the wrong one. Shoot. This moved on me. Rotten son of a gun. No wonder. I didn't really look. There we go. All right, now in the chat, I'm gonna share my screen if I can. There's the chat. If you go in there, you got the file I just put up there, a PDF. Click on it, and it'll download to your device.
It's not in the chat.
It's in my chat.
It's not in everyone.
No,
Is that right?
Oh, it changed the name here. Hang on a minute. Boy. There, I put it out again to everybody.
got it now.
All right. That just click on that link and it'll download the file to your device.
Which one is that? CCS iPad phone tips?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay. So then I have to download this now.
Yeah, you download it, and when you open up the PDF, you'll have a whole bunch of links in there, about 9 of them. The first one is the video I showed. The other 8 are various tips, and the last one's a tutorial. Gives you a lot of features for an iPad, iPhone for doing Zoom. I think, Tony, you need to look at that.
Okay, I'll look at it. Sure.
Most of them are very short, anywhere between like about 10 minutes. Well, I think the shortest is just under 5 minutes, up to maybe 20, 27 minutes, something like that.
Okay. Sounds good.
So you can take a look at that, and it'll give you more tips on how to use your iPad with a Zoom features.
Zoom meet, right? Yeah, okay. Thank you.
And that should help Wayne too, and maybe Bert.
All right. Sounds good. Nice.
Okay, anybody got any other questions or problems they want to discuss? Gee. Well, Offhand, it's a smidgen early, but if there's nothing else, then we can either call it a night or somebody's got to come up with something.
Where's the Christmas party?
Pardon?
Where is the Christmas party?
Wherever you want
All right. I'll put a heater in the garage.
it. Yeah, make sure the heat's off though. You don't want anything to melt.
Oh, no, I'm glad you brought that to my attention. I wasn't thinking about that. Oh, I said I just wanted to be Krispy Kreme, you know?
All right. Anything that anybody else needs to bring up?
Yes, I'd like to bring up a question to the group. I'd like to know if there's any interest of having a face-to-face regular meeting sometime in 2023. If I could see a show of hands of yes, down, two, just two, three. Okay. Okay, so we got three. The dilemma is where to have it, and we would like to find some place that's somewhere between what West Suburban chapter meeting or club meeting and South Suburban, since that's the bulk of our attendees. And ideally, we'd want to find some place that we could meet that will not charge us anything. Public libraries, some of them will not charge, some do. If you're interested in having a face-to-face meeting and you live in a suburb, could you check with your library and see if they allow free meetings, free use of the conference rooms? And I'm thinking we might have maybe 20 people show up. That's just a guess. So I'm just asking. If you want to send me an email saying you found something, I'd really appreciate a little footwork on this. I personally did find that I could reserve a conference room at the Batavia Library, but that's further west than the Naperville than the city of Naperville, a little further west, but it's even farther for South Suburban attendees. So I'm just throwing that out there. They are available. It's just if you're a card holder for a particular library, you call there and ask them if they charge, or you can just go online and see if they have it for free. Let us know, and then maybe we can come up with an option of where and when. So that's all I'm asking.
Sounds good.
Good.
Yep, I like the idea.
Okay, good. I do too. I think I think we could do this. I mean, we've all been out in public now, so, or most of us have been out in public. So I'd like to see if we could put this together for sometime next year.
Okay, sounds good.
Sounds good. Okay, that's all I'm asking.
And Bert, I think part of the problem is you gotta have somebody a member that lives in the town.
Well, yes.
If you pick a town and, to reserve it, they're probably gonna want somebody, that lives in that town.
Well, that is what I said. You have to be a card holder for that library in order for you to be able to use it. I checked with the Batavia Public Library, which I am a card holder for, and yes, they have rooms available for free to be used. And they come with projectors too. So unlike Naperville, which wants to charge a pretty steep amount for using their rooms, kind of crazy that they do if you're a card holder, you pay taxes. You shouldn't have to pay to use the rooms, but that's just my biased opinion. So yes, if you're a card holder, it makes it go a lot easier. And if you're not, then don't pursue that angle unless you know somebody else that's in the club that resides in the same town and they may be a card holder.
Stanford Indian Prairie computer club meets in Hinsdale, that community center,
Okay.
and I'm not sure, they may pay a very small fee.
Last I knew, they were paying $1 per meeting,
$1 a head, I
and
think.
they are not meeting in person at this time.
We are meeting in December.
In December they are, and supposedly it may go to from $1 a head to $2 a head.
$2, yeah.
Again, we're looking for a free venue.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
That's as close as you
we can
might
always
get.
find venues that we could pay for. It's just we're looking for free ones.
Yeah, the other question is there any way of getting remote people to kind of phone in on Zoom even for a live meeting?
We're doing that at Indian Prairie. You know, they've got that owl device where
They've got an owl. They've got an owl. Yeah. Those work very well for small groups.
Right.
I'm not familiar with what you're referring to.
Owl, OWLL, I believe it is. It is a multi-microphone device, costs about $1,000, and it has microphones which automatically switch between one and another to catch different, sound coming from different parts of the room.
It's got a
So it's to focus
360.
on the speaker.
It's got cameras around and
Yeah. They focus on the.
Yeah.
It's got cameras and it detects who is speaking, and it will focus on the person who is speaking.
Right.
Well, that's more high tech than I think we're going to get for our first meeting.
I know.
Okay. I appreciate that suggestion, Bob. The only way that I know that you could do it now, this is basically you'd have to have some person basically in front of a computer monitoring the Zoom traffic and then more or less broadcasting to the rest of the group, hey, Bob's got a question, blah, blah, blah. And Bob, in your case, you're if you will, you're the outlier.
Right.
At least. And the rest of us, we want to encourage everybody to attend this physical meeting. So putting it on Zoom would be counterproductive.
No, that was just it wasn't something I was asking, let's do that. It's not a requirement. It was just a question. Did you have any thought as to how that might be possible?
Yeah, I that was my thought, was to encourage a physical attendance instead of trying to do a thing, although that could manifest later on that we could do both simultaneously. I just want to see if we could put this together first.
I see.
I think you're talking about an evening meeting, right? An evening meeting?
It would that would be a preferred, but it doesn't have to be. I think most of this group is all retired, and daytimes is not out of the question. So, again, we can figure this out as we go.
Yeah, and I'll make a stipulation that there are some people that might attend during daylight hours that would not do it at night because of night vision issues.
Yeah.
That could very well be. And again, we'll take suggestions and come up with a plan. I think the first thing we need to do is find a place and then set a date. And then we can set a time. Something along that line, if you will. Okay, so let me know. Send me an email. It's mailman1110@gmail.com.
You want to put that in the chat?
Yes, I can put it right in the chat if you want.
And before you guys go, go to the chat down where the message area is. There's 3 dots horizontally. Click on that, and it gives you the ability to save the chat content.
Yep.
Okay, is there anything else? If not, everybody have a happy and a safe Thanksgiving holiday, hopefully with family and friends, and make certain you get back home afterwards sound and safe.
And you the same.
Thank you, sir.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
All right. Then we'll
All
call it a
right.
night.
All right, au revoir.
Good night.